Magneto is a very powerful mutant who, at this point, we all probably know and, well, don't love. At least, I hope you're not a racist psychopath who thinks all of humanity is the weaker link. The point is, Magneto of Earth 616 is a very powerful being. He can control metal amongst other things and has a very rich history. But does this hold true for his ultimate counterpart? Hello and welcome to the show with Issues. I'm Auram, and today I figured we'd talk about something a little more ultimate, seeing as I'm still reading through the entirety of Bendis' Ultimate Spider-Man. There's a story arc in that series where the Magneto of that universe shows up and wreaks surprisingly little havoc. That, along with him pretty much killing the Ultimate Universe in Ultimatum, got me thinking. Just what are Ultimate Magneto's powers, and how far can he stretch them? That being said, let's get started. Erik Lehnsherr was born to two agents of the Weapon X program, a Canadian research center created by the government in an attempt to create super soldiers. This led to their discovery of the mutant genome and their creation of the first mutant, Wolverine, but that's another story for another video. When Erik was around 13 years old, his mutant power began to manifest. His father was not fond of this, and in a drunken fit of rage, he tried to kill the boy. Erik flinched and instinctively sent the bullet away from himself and into his father, killing him. As he grew, Erik began to realize the true state of the Weapon X program, which he didn't much agree with. He realized that he was a mutant, and that the program had been torturing the Mutant X, Wolverine, while they tried to find a cure for the mutant gene. Erik escaped Weapon X, freeing Wolverine and killing his mother, along with many other agents in the process. He sought out the help of one Charles Xavier, a man whose work with mutants fascinated Erik. Xavier had been helping young mutants control their powers. Erik and Xavier became quick friends, and they soon developed the shared ideology of mutants being the next step in human evolution. They eventually left to an island in the Pacific, where they would form their Brotherhood of Mutants. Erik created a new language for this island and even genetically revived a new race of dinosaurs, effectively creating the Savage Land. Not long after the Savage Land was founded, Erik's ideologies grew out of proportion. He dropped his human name, instead calling himself Magneto, and even began treating the citizens of the Savage Land as an army, rather than a civilized people. Xavier, realizing this, fled the Savage Land with a small group of followers that would become his X-Men. This caused Magneto to begin campaigns of anti-human hate, which led to political assassinations and terrorist bombings all over the world. Magneto would wage his war on humanity for a while until he set off his ultimatum wave. The ultimatum wave was effectively a tsunami caused by Magneto that drowned New York City and its surrounding areas. The events of this were chronicled in the book Ultimatum, and it was met with very low praise. Most would say hate. The book is dumb, I will agree with that, but the way it starts isn't too bad, but again, that's another video for another time. The point here is that Magneto was killed at the end of it by Cyclops after realizing what he had done. So, that's the arc of Ultimate Mags himself, all the way up until his demise, but what about his mutant powers? Well, like I said, he's a mutant, but it's unclear whether or not Ultimate Mutants have inherent abilities like they do in the mainstream Marvel Universe. One can assume that they don't, seeing as they're genetic experiments rather than being a naturally occurring race. His main mutant ability is his Magneto Kinesis, which allows him to channel and manipulate the magnetic fields around him. He demonstrated this power in a number of ways, one of which was self-sustaining flight. Magneto was able to fly around by either using the planet's magnetic lines of force, or by creating a barrier between himself and the planet's surface. His Magneto Kinesis also allowed him to create force fields around himself, and, here's the big one, manipulate anything containing any kind of metal. That's really the extent of Magneto's mutant powers, but what about his everyday abilities? Magneto expressed experience and expertise in various fields, including biochemistry, genetics, and technology. He was able to revive the dinosaurs, build homes for all of his mutant followers, and even create a power-enhancing drug called Banshee. Banshee was a drug that granted humans temporary superpowers, along with enhancing the powers of a mutant to extreme, even godlike levels. As for equipment, he's got his helmet. Magneto's helmet protected him from any telepaths or psychic foes. It effectively blocked all psionic attacks. He began wearing this helmet shortly after Xavier started displaying distaste for Magneto's efforts against humans. On the side of power grid ratings, he stacks up quite nicely. Ultimate Magneto has an intelligence rating of 5, strength of 2, speed of 4, durability of 3, energy projection of 5, and fighting skills of 3. Here's Magneto's stats along with those of Ultimate Professor X and Ultimate Wolverine. So there you have it, the powers and abilities of one Ultimate Magneto. This was actually very interesting to me. I was under the impression that Magneto's ultimate counterpart would be far more different with his power set, but they're pretty similar. It seems that the Ultimate Universe took far more liberties with its stories and origins of well-known characters instead of their power sets and abilities. Talk about the Ultimate Universe in the comments. I even give you permission to rant about Ultimatum if you so desire. Insert stupid joke about it already being the second week of September here. I'll be getting 10 titles including Civil War issue 4, Miss Marvel issue 18, and Siege issue 3. The tie-ins seem to be ramping back up this week. Lots of variety. There's also a new Star Wars book coming out that's set after Return of the Jedi, just like the current Star Wars book should be. But that's it for this week. The Ultimate Universe is a lot of fun, and say what you will about it, there's no denying that it did wonders for Marvel and told a lot of cool stories while it lasted. Like I said earlier, talk about all that in the comments. That being said, thank you so much for watching. watching. Next time I don't have 30 minutes of studio troubles before filming. I know most of the time I complain about this stuff, but this studio is a lot more awful than you think. Magneto, meh.